We're here with Insulwise in Pittsburgh again today, and we're going to show you a great method for building a raised storage platform in your attic. If you find this video helpful, please click the like and subscribe button. First, we build what we call a hatch wall around the existing attic opening. Here we are using 2x10s. The wall needs to be high enough so that the ladder can fold up fully into it, and we leave an extra 3 inches of clearance at the top so that we can later install an insulated hatch that fits over top of the ladder. We use 3-inch length screws to attach the sides together and also to anchor the joist to the opening by toe-nailing them into place, which you'll see here in a minute. But first you want to make sure that your hatch wall is properly situated over top of the opening. And what we're going to do here is, as I mentioned before, toe-nail these in, and I normally put in about 2 to 6 of these screws around the perimeter. You can go from the outside, you can come from the inside, it doesn't really matter, but the hatch wall does need to be securely anchored to the floor joists in the attic because it provides a later anchor point for the floor joists that get installed. Now, before you start bringing your lumber up to the attic, one thing that we highly recommend that you do is just draw out a quick plan or map for what you're going to be doing there. In this case, we're going to be building a storage pad that's 8 feet wide and 16 feet long, and it's not quite going to be a rectangle, but this just helps to save some lumber and materials down the road so you don't make mistakes. Now, what we always do is anchor the floor joists directly to the hatch wall, and again we're using 3-inch screws for all the structural elements of this, and the first one that we're going to put in is going to go right on the side of the hatch wall. And we're going to put a couple of screws in right here, and then you'll see what we later do is use a speed square, and you'll see this in just a minute, but you want to make sure that the ends of these floor joists are perpendicular to the actual existing floor joist before you start screwing them in during their whole length. Otherwise you can wind up with some something that doesn't look or work so well as you go. But once the first one is in, we're going to go and anchor a few more of these in to the sides of the hatch wall, and we're going to be doing this again by using 3-inch screws, and we're going to drive them from the inside of the hatch wall through to this floor joist. And I normally put in 2 or 3 screws here, and then again once it's anchored to the hatch wall, I'm going to go to the end of this, use my speed square again, and make sure that it's perpendicular and in the right place before I add others. Okay, getting this in right now. Have to hold it steady, and there we go. So from there, we're going to come across and put in the next floor joist. We're going to create our outer perimeter first and then work in. Now you don't have to do this, but this kind of helps us to make sure that we're on point with everything, and it gets us the result that we're looking for, and we think simplifies things a little bit, but you don't have to do it that way. So we're taking our measurement, 96 inches, put the first screw in, and then go to the end, use a speed square again to make sure we're perpendicular to the floor joist below. We're going to toe nail in another 3-inch screw, and once we get the first screw in and then the second screw in all the way at the end, we add another 3 to 4 screws in the middle there, and with the toe nailing method, and that's going to further secure it. So we're going to go ahead, drive this screw in, and then once our lattice is fully laid out, we're going to start installing vertical supports, and that's what these are right here. These are just 2x3s. You could use 2x4s or whatever, but something that's structurally sound. We screw them to the lattice work that we're installing, and then anchor them into the attic floor joists below. This adds additional rigidity and strength to the frame there that we're creating. And then after we've got a couple of these in, the next thing is to start putting the plywood in over top. So you can see that this is a pretty straightforward and simple method for doing this. Now the insulation in this attic has been removed. That makes it a little bit simpler, but you can certainly do this in attics that already have insulation in them as well. So we brought our plywood up here. We are using 7/16 inch thick OSB to do this, but you can really use any type of plywood. You can see we're walking the OSB across our lattice here. You can see we've got our vertical supports into every one of these, And from here, we're going to look at see how it comes out at the end. So here we have the finished result. This raised storage pad is sturdy, durable, and just as important, has allowed us to insulate beneath it to a full R49 with blown-in cellulose insulation. If you live in the Pittsburgh area and would like Insulwise to help you with your home, give us a call or use the link in the description below to leave us your info and we'll reach out to you. Thank you for your time.